Chapter 07, First Battle. Translator's Corner, Cast, an English clown and a French Pierrot. Clown, opening day for our first new banner. Pierrot. Sob, why am I not there? Clown, not the right scenery? Pierrot, I quit. Clown, wait. Listen. This was just practice, a temporary solution. The resolution was wrong, so the quality is bad. Pierrot, that's what they all say. Clown, okay, here's the truth, the drawing tablet broke, so until I fix it, just hang in there. Pierrot, promise? Clown, absolutely. Pierrot, very well. Clown, oh, and speaking of hanging, I've heard a politician say this, I think they should bring back hanging and we should watch it live on TV and call it news at 10. Pierrot, I'll take you up on that. Clown, no, wait. Empowerment Arc. Chapter 07, First Battle. A path leading out of from the underground lake. It was a single tunnel. With a boyo, I ascend the path. Moving around is actually more pleasant than you'd expect. Even places that light fails to reach are perfectly visible to magic perception. I would more around slowly, checking every step, when I was blind, and slimes aren't that fast to begin with. Now, I normally move at a walking pace, but can also run. Nor do I get tired. But, since I don't have any reason to hurry, I move at a moderate pace. I swear this is not the result of a trauma from the first time I ran and fell into the lake. A short while after, a giant gate had appeared before my eyes. A human-made structure inside the cave. Nothing that strange about it. But, that's because this development is common in RPGs. It's normal to have a door in front of the boss's room. So, how should I get it open? Should I cut it with the water blade? When I though that. Gigageaenith. With a creaking noise, the door is opening. A little flustered, I hid by the edge of the path, and observed the situation. It finally opened, Lock fell apart and the doors rusted. Hey, that's only to be expected. Don't they say that no one entered here in 300 years? Not on record, at least. But more importantly, are we really going to be fine? We won't be attacked suddenly, right? Gahahaha. Don't worry. He might have been unrivaled 300 years ago, but times have changed. I mean, ain't he just a big lizard? I've subjugated basilisks by myself. Leave it to me. About that, I've wondered for a while, but that's a lie, isn't it? Basilisks are ranked B+, right? Solo subjugation would be impossible for Cabal-san, wouldn't it? Fool. I am a B rank myself. They are just big lizards, no trouble at all. Okay, I got it, so would you please not let your guard down? Well, if it comes down to it, I'll just escape using forced withdrawal. Guys, I got the extent of your friendship, so could you please be quiet? You'll blow my camouflage skill. Somehow, a boisterous trio had entered. I wonder why. Actually, why do I understand their words? Solution. In cases where intentions are vocalized, magic perception converts them to appropriate words and transmits them to the brain. I see. I can't talk to them, but at least I can understand them. Thank goodness. I had always been bad with English. I think that if you live in Japan there should be no need to study foreign languages. Those who plan to go abroad can struggle by themselves. But that excuse won't work here. I'll probably have to learn eventually. Well, that matter can rest for now. What should I do? This dilemma is worse than the previous one, how to open the door. I don't know what they came to do, but they seem like adventurers. Did they come searching for treasures and stuff? They are the first humans I meet in this world. Sort of want to go and greet them. But, if a mute monster slime, a .k.ai, were to go out there, I'd be killed without questions. Let's wait for now. Meeting humans will have to wait until I can talk. For now, I observed this situation in hiding. After the skinny man had done something, the appearance of the three has dimmer. But, I can still see them. Did he call this camouflage? Probably a type of skill. Is he just trying to peek? What an outrageous guy. Does he even know why they came here? Probably should get to know him later. When the three had finally left, I started moving again. Nothing to worry about. Not like I won't meet people anymore. I'll move while checking every step. As people have always said, haste makes waste. Leaving these matters for later, I quickly went through the gate in case the three had returned. A little while past the gates the path diverged and became rather complex. I wonder which way leads to the surface? Though even if I thought about it, there's no way for me to know. I chose a path and went down it. Kairori. Our eyes met. Just a bit above the ground, in front of my eyes, there was a giant serpent. Like the past world's snakes, you could consider it cute. It was harder, covered in scales, and pitch black in color. Like a frog in front of snake? Nope, I am a slime, not a frog. Let's pretend I'm air. It would be best, though, if it doesn't notice me. Well, let's just try to slither away. Asterisk Kisha. Asterisk. I was threatened. No good. I won't let you go. Or so it would probably say if I could hear it. A fight, huh. I have a secret skill that I gained from a weeks-long practice. But even so, you've got to be resolved to die if you want to fight this beast. To summarize, I'm pretty darn scared. Don't panic. If I think hard enough, I can imagine something far scarier. Yes, Feldera. Let's compare it to that dragon. Oh? Doesn't seem that scary now. Can't I do this? After calming myself, I began quietly observing the serpent. The snake seems to have let its guard down, thinking I was so afraid that I couldn't move. Probably planning on how it will cook me. Yeah. Well then, let's not hold back either. Bishun. Without hesitation I fired a water blade at the serpent's neck. Asterisk Zubin. Hyuyun, Dosa. Gorogoro, Zun asterisk. It was but a moment. I couldn't believe my eyes. Without even a hint of resistance the water blade beheaded the serpent. I could only gulp. Up until a second ago, there was an ominous sneak right there. This is even more powerful than I had thought. Had I been forced to use it on the adventures, it would end gory. Good thing my first enemy was a monster. Oh, and by the way, my stomach is currently occupied at 30%, Feldera 15%, water 10%, medicine and other crap 2%, metals and resources 3%. Water bullet uses less than a cup of water, and I can regulate the size, with the intention of increasing it, of course. Thus even if I fire thousands of these, I won't have to worry about the amount left. This just might be better than magic. If monsters come out, let's meet them with a water blade. Now, about this snake. If I eat and analyze it, would I steal its powers? Well, let's try it. The result. Inherent skill heat detection, the ability to see nearby heat sources. Furthermore, camouflage skills are nullified. Inherent skill noxious mist breath, the ability to release a powerful toxic, corrosive, breath. Released at 120 degrees for a distance of 7 meters. TL note, 22 feet. Along with these two skills, I could also mimic the snake. The poison's main effect seems to be corrosive damage, damage to both equipment and flesh. Would be pretty effective against normal adventurers, eh? Though with this world's magic, it just might be an easy win. And so I spent some time analyzing the snake's skills. Best to increase my hand while I can. Things I've confirmed. 1. I've gained the ability to transform into the snake. 2. I can use the acquired skills even without transforming. But, their strength decreases. Those two things. If I had to explain them. 1. I can stock up on the bodies of monsters I ate and analyzed. My body had repaired the section I previously damaged, but it kind of has the feel of stitches, made with cells. 2. Inherent skills are skills specific to that monster race. Similar to my dissolve, absorb, and regenerate. Regarding the skill, if I am not transformed into the appropriate monster, I cannot use it with 100% effectiveness. However, there are also skills like heat detection, which I can make completely my own. To summarize, it's like this. I totally dig Predator. It's another skill which is super useful. 3 days have passed since I fought the snake. I'm still inside the cavern. I don't feel cold, but it's probably below freezing in here. Sunlight doesn't reach here at all. And so, I kept worrying over one fear. I know. There's no way it's true. But no matter what, I just couldn't get it out of my head. Yeah, what if I am lost? No, there's no way. I mean, right? Who's heard of someone getting lost in the beginner's cave? Isn't this supposed to be the easiest part? Besides, even those 3 adventurers got this far without being lost. I should be fine. It's probably just a long path. But, it's probably a good thing I was reborn as a slime. Had I come here as a normal world traveler, I'd definitely collapse from hunger by now. Who would have thought that I'd be thankful for being a slime? However, not knowing the way is troubling. Isn't there like a map of this place or something? Solution. Should I display the current location? Yes/no. Replay the current narration? Just couldn't help making a pun. But seriously, what the hell? Let me know sooner if I have such a useful ability. Absolutely yes. Curse you auto mapping. I also had a time when I thought that back in old games, you'd sit down with a pencil and a piece of paper, and record every step to get to the goal. It was fun to plan every step. However, many people began relying on game guides, and eventually mapping became a standard game feature. No more pleasure of the hunt. Moreover, had you gotten used to that feature once, you can never go back again. Well, it's also true that without this feature, you'd be stuck in most recent games. Anyways, let's put this useful skill to use. I look at the map displayed in my head. This has got to be some mistake. I've been walking in circles. For me, who has compiled game guides before, to have been lost. Impossible. Definitely possible. According to the map, I've entered previously unexplored regions. So, I've spent 3 days looking at the world no one has seen before. Phew. To have misled me, the dungeon is a worthy opponent. Let's pointlessly praise the dungeon. And don't even begin to think that I have no sense of direction. Is the entrance close by? There is various moss and weed growing around here. The light reaches from somewhere, bathing the grass in light and color. So it must be day. I've fought many battles to come this far. A centipede monster, evil centipede, rank B+. Big, black spider, rank B. Vampire bat, giant bat, rank C+. Carapace lizard, Amosaurus, rank, very happy face. Those are the 4 species I encountered. There was that one serpent, but I haven't seen another. They were all powerful foes. Defeated with one water blade. Well, the bat evaded it a few times, and the shooting angle was bad for the centipede. Can't relax just yet. For example, the centipede erased its presence and attacked from behind. Luckily, that kind of attack wouldn't work on someone with magic perception and heat detection. So I shot out a few water blades from my back. The big spider was pretty dangerous. In the first place, I'm no good with spiders. It's a psychological thing. Just a sight of one makes me want to cower. But, maybe due to my heart become stronger through reincarnation, I somehow managed to fight without running away. My bad, but I'm going full force. With that thought, I cut it up with 5 water blades. It wasn't an opponent I wanted to look at, after all. And of course, I ate them all. It's survival of the fittest in this world. If you lose, you get eaten. And well, I did hesitate to eat the centipede and the spider. But I did do my best. But, if a cockroach monster exists, I'll absolutely run away without eating it. There's these wonderful words in this world, he who fights and runs away will live to see another day. Here's the skills I got as a result. Centipede monster paralysis breath. Big spider sticky thread, steel thread. Vampire bat vampirism, ultrasound waves. Carapace lizard body armor. And so, having gotten my hands on new powers, I successfully left the cave. For the first time since being reborn, I was bathed in the light of the sun. Status. Name, Rimuru Tempest. Species, Slime. Divine Protection, the Storm Crest. Titles, none. Magic, none. Skills, Unique Skill Great Sage, Unique Skill Predator, Slime-Specific Skills Dissolve, Absorb, Regenerate, Extra Skill Water Manipulation, Extra Skill Magic Perception, Acquired Skill, Serpent Heat Detection, Noxious Breath, etc. Resistances, Thermal Fluctuation Resistance, Physical Attack Resistance, Pain Resistance, Electricity Resistance, Paralysis Resistance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 08, The Power in My Hands. Translator's Corner, Cast, an English clown and a French Pierrot. Pierrot, this is a news report from Wakayama Prefecture. The corpse of an identified Pierrot had been found without a suicide note. The police are investigating this as a homicide by a certain clown. Clown, no they aren't. And you aren't dead. Pierrot, you killjoy. I thought this might be an interesting way to start. Clown, well, it's not. Don't be deceiving our readers like that. If we even have any. Pierrot, alright, how about this one? Waking up one morning, Pierrot has suddenly realized that she had started to change into a cockroach. What a shocking metamorph *sis. Clown, will get shut down due to plagiarism. And why Kafka? Pierrot, well, you know, giant cockroach, Rimuru being afraid of cockroaches. Thought it might be a good setting. Clown, sigh, what am I going to do with you? Pierrot, have my words inspire you to tell some crappy joke? Clown, right. Speaking of bugs, have you heard this one? There was this guy who had a pet centipede. One day, he said, go get the paper, and make it snappy. Half an hour later, he goes outside, sees the centipede and says, didn't I say to make it snappy? The centipede replies, I had to put on my shoes. Empowerment Arc. Chapter 08, The Power in My Hands. It's been a while since I last walked under the sun. Not like I'm a vampire who'd melt or get hurt under the sun, though. Presently, using my monster instincts, I can sense such perilous conduct. However, I'll often do it even if I know it's dangerous. Nothing to laugh about. Really have to better my self-awareness. The cave seems to be in the middle of some forest. The entrance lay at the base of what you could call a small mountain or a big hill. Sticking out from among tall trees, the hill can be seen from afar. Regardless of description, it's the only place from which you can see the sun. The forest is dim in comparison. Has that magic circle feel to it. A wise man keeps away from danger, as they say. And so, I quickly left that place behind. Since the moment I left the cave, some time had passed. The sun has begun to dip towards the horizon. Seems like I left the cave exactly at noon. You'd be surprised how much I want to align my biological clock with the sun. The moment I thought that, it naturally changed. Was it really so simple? Right now, it's 4 o'clock in the evening. It's time for dinner, but sadly I don't need food. I could eat, but since I don't taste anything, it's pretty wasteful. With thoughts of food, I remembered the monsters I ate in the cave. Though I got my hands on new powers, I have yet to put them to use. Black Serpent Heat Detection, Noxious Breath. Centipede Monster Paralysis Breath. Big Spider Sticky Thread, Steel Thread. Vampire Bat Vampirism, Ultrasound Waves. Carapace Lizard Body Armor. The Black Serpent's Noxious Breath, for example, I can't use at all. Honestly, when the Carapace Lizard appeared, I had used it. And as a result, as if it weren't armored at all, the lizard had dissolved before my eyes. An extremely gruesome sight. Even remembering makes me want to puke. And that's why I avoid it. If, let's say, adventurers had chanced upon this snake, they'd probably be annihilated before they could even cast a spell. If I were hit by it? I hadn't given it any thought, nor do I want to. Let's just say, thank goodness I shot first. To be hit by such a dangerous breath, would be bad. But wait, that isn't something that I want to remember. Since seeing scrambled organs and bloody remains of lizards is rather unpleasant, at least for me, I decided to completely forget about noxious breath. As for what would happen when used as a slime, the radius decreases by at least 1/2. If transformed, the breath spreads out for about 7-10 meters, without mimicking that is reduced to only 1 meter. Anyways, would you want to see your opponent melt before you? Therefore, this skill I've sealed away. On the other hand, heat detection is simply wonderful. Living things radiate heat. If combined with magic perception, no attack can go unnoticed. However, since humans and upper-class monsters may possess some special skills or magic, this is no reason to let my guard down. Next, about the centipede. Not going to mimic this one, because of appearance. The paralysis breath functions the same as the serpent's one. The range is no different, as well. And as I expected, the range decreases to a 1 meter when used as a slime. But, it just might be a good skill to use during ambush. Or so I'd like to say, but if I had to fight an enemy that close, I'd be better off transforming or running. Anything else would result in inevitable defeat. The lizard. It was absorbed after being completely melted by my noxious breath. As such, restoring the body had proved impossible. Anyways, having physical attack resistance kind of makes transforming pointless. So I tried to use body armor while a slime. My face hardened. As you'd find in some MMOs, I had become a metal slime. My previously light blue body had changed color to a bluish-silver metallic one. However, as I didn't try receiving damage, I don't know how good it actually is. I did gain a pretty color option as a result, though. Maybe I'll use it to surprise some enemy. That's the extent of these 3 species powers. The problem is the remaining 2. They hold very interesting powers. You wonder what's amusing about them? First, the spider. Right, you all know about the hero who possesses spider powers, right? Hyui, he shoots out thread from his wrists, leaping from building to building. That famous guy. Sticky thread is intended to trap your enemies and prevent them from moving. However, if I were to use it, could I reproduce his movements? Quickly, I put it to the test. Aiming at a large tree. Hyui. Barayon. Let me explain steel thread. Sticky thread? What's that? Don't know anything about a skill that hangs you up on a tree. And so, about steel thread. It is intended to be used to defend against enemy attacks. Or when making a nest, it can be used to increase your advantage, build a maze. But what I tried was to make one thin thread and whip it at a tree. Pyun. Buchin asterisk. It easily cut through. And, there's also that. While I can see it pretty easy with my magic perception, it's actually very hard to see with the naked eye. With practice, it might become a dependable weapon. I'll practice with it later. And last up, the bat. I expected the most from these skills. Vampirism skill. By sucking the target's blood I can temporarily gain its abilities. Not a skill to worry about. I mean, Predator is simply better. Would it be too presumptuous to consider vampirism its degraded version? And I don't really want to suck blood. So after learning all I could about it, I neglected vampirism. Rather, the skill that caught my interest was ultrasound waves. More than bewildering the enemy or causing him to faint, the skill can also pinpoint one's location. In my original world, bats got around using the same ability. But don't miss the main point. These are essentially vocal cords. By itself, the skill's nothing special. So my next step became creating the organ necessary for using these sound waves. Luckily, I didn't have to create it from mere imagination and could instead reproduce it based on the bat I had absorbed. With this, I might finally be able to speak. Tired and exhausted, I continued working through the night without an ounce of sleep. Not that I need any. 3 days and 3 nights of constant research, and behold the results. Take me to your leader. Success. As for how it sounds, have you ever spoken right in front of a fan, that distorted voice? Yeah, that's how it is. The rest can be fixed with minor adjustments. While calming my excitement, I carefully started adjustments. However, I can't seem to use ultrasound waves. I could have sworn I could shoot out sound waves. I was going to call it Sonic Blaster or Sonic Buster. Can't I use those? Solution. From skill ultrasound waves, skill supreme vibrations can be derived. However, it cannot be currently acquired. Derive, huh? Probably need to have the skill evolve first. So I lack enough information to successfully derive the next skill. Shame, it would have been nice to have a skill that when fired would resonate with the target and destroy it. To be frank, if I don't get it myself, how can I expect to be able to use it? Seems like I'm a pretty greedy slime. Having many abilities is, without question, a good thing. But, I see no need to hurry. I should just be satisfied with having restored my voice. And so, while trying out various things, I continued down this path. Without any direction in mind. But my goal, I felt, was a good one. Somewhere beyond the forest, there is a city with some nice people with whom I could talk. In any case, these days have been pretty peaceful. In the caves, I was frequently beset by monsters, but since coming out here, I have yet to fight one. Just this one time, while I was practicing speaking, I was attacked by wolves. I seem to have threatened them with my voice alone. Kaya ini yainin. And they ran away with a miserable whimper. Larger than the largest breed of dogs, with a body length of more than 2 meters, and a whole pack of them. What to say? Scared of some lowly slime, how pathetic. As for me, I had no desire to fight. Although I could acquire a sense of smell as a result. That thought piqued my interest, so I kept an eye out, but no wolves were in sight. Actually, there was no monster within 100 meters of me. Somehow, it's like they are fearing me? Why? Yep, definitely, I can sense their fear. Having confirmed that, I felt a group of monsters approaching. Before my eyes, a group of 30 human-like monsters stumbled before me. Small bodies. Crude equipment. Covered in a thin layer of dirt, their expression lacked intelligence. But, not completely barbaric. There were also a few who wore swords, spears, stone axes, and bows. My gray matter, brain cells, quickly saw through to their true identity. The famous monsters that will attack adventurers. Yes, goblins. How stereotypical. And the ones they attack are weak monsters, so myself? But hey, to come with 30 people against a single slime, that's too much. However, somehow I feel no fear. My instincts refuse to fear them. Many of their swords had rusted, and their armor is thin. Some have stitched together some rotting cloth. Compare, the lizard covered in thousands of hard scales, the spider with feet like sharpened blades. The I who have endured those battles, cannot imagine suffering at the hands of these goblins. And in worst case scenario, I'll just mimic the serpent and take out a few. As I was thinking these things, one of them stepped forward, probably the leader, opened his mouth. Guga. Oh strong one. Does you have any business up ahead? Goblins can talk. I wonder if they can use any of magic perception. And did they just call me strong one? First surround me armed with weapons, and then politely ask a question, what a bunch. I was amused. In any case, it doesn't look like they will attack right away. Will my words reach them? I guess I just have to try. And so, I tried conversing with goblins. Status. Name, Rimuru Tempest. Species, Slime. Divine Protection, the Storm Crest. Titles, none. Magic, none. Skills, Unique Skill Great Sage, Unique Skill Predator, Slime Specific Skills Dissolve, Absorb, Regenerate, Extra Skill Water Manipulation, Extra Skill Magic Perception, Acquired Skills, Black Serpent Heat Detection, Noxious Breath, Centipede Paralysis Breath, Spider Sticky Thread, Steel Threat, Bat Ultrasound Waves, Lizard Body Armor. Resistances, Thermal Fluctuation Resistance X, Physical Attack Resistance, Pain Resistance, Electricity Resistance, Paralysis Resistance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 09, Negotiating with the Goblins. Translator's Corner, cast, an English clown and a French Pierrot. Clown, so, are you hanging in there? Pierrot, you've forbidden me from hanging. Clown, just look outside. The blue sky, clean air, and so many opportunities. Pierrot, it's night, the air is polluted, and the world can end in 1,000 different ways tomorrow. Clown, then, you can see the stars. Pierrot, it's raining. Clown, pollution makes water pretty. Pierrot, and toxic. Clown, an end is just the beginning. Pierrot, that's only true for a circle. But wait, if what you say is true, life is like a circle. We go around and around the same point, accomplishing nothing. Living accomplishes nothing. Nothing gets done, so there is no meaning. Life is meaningless. Haha. I guess it's just like that joke said. Clown, do I dare ask? Pierrot, what did the triangle say to the circle? You're pointless. Empowerment Arc. Chapter 09, Negotiating with the Goblins. I glanced at the goblin. The goblins are, from what I can see, pretty desperate. They are on guard, weapon in hand, and are politely calling out to me. Unfortunately, many seem to have run away already. But as expected of the leader. He looks me straight in the eye, straight at me. All right. I feel some intelligence from this one. Might be able to talk properly. Will my voice reach? I tried attaching thought to the spoken words and sending them to Goblin. Should I say, pleased to meet you? I am the slime, Rimuru. The goblins began murmuring among themselves. Were they surprised that a slime spoke? Or so I thought, but among them, a few wearing plain clothing threw away their weapons. I don't really get it. Gaga, O strong one. We very understand your great power. We beg, lower your voice. Mew. Were the thoughts I attached too strong? So I guess telepathy is a no-go. They'd just be more afraid. My bad. I still can't regulate it very well. I guess I'll apologize. We unworthy. No need apologize to us. Seems like my words are reaching them. This is some good practice. Oh, and by the way, I'm speaking Japanese, yet somehow, they are understanding. So, what do you need from me? I don't have any particular reason to be going this way, either. Since they have politely asked questions, I guess I'll politely answer. And maybe it was too much, but to make sure they continued fearing me, I said that rather forcefully. So it like that. On this path, stand our village. We felt strong monster, so came as precaution. A strong monster's presence? One that I have not detected. Gaga, Gagaga, you joke. Even clothed in that form, we will not be fooled. It seems like they've completely got the wrong idea. Warning. The one who's mistaken is Rimuru. They are completely convinced that a powerful monster took the shape of a slime. As would be expected from goblins, who are famous for being low-ranking monsters. After talking to the goblins for a while, it seems like I'll be imposing on their village. That is, it seems like I'm staying over. Though they look shabby, it seems they have a big heart. And though I don't need to sleep, taking a break might be a good idea. With that thought, I decided to accept the offer and go to their village. We discussed many things. That, the god they worshipped had recently disappeared. That, along with his disappearance, various monsters begun moving. That, the number of powerful adventurers had increased. And so on. And, during the conversation, I finally became able to clearly hear their words. That I can probably attribute to having gotten used to listening with magic perception. It's probably a good thing I practiced with goblins before talking to people. Such was the conversation in the company of goblins. The villages, where? Is what I wanted to say, considering how dirty it was. After all, I hadn't expected goblin dig up their dens. Even so, they guided me to the best-looking building. The roof was made of rotting straw, and so was full of holes, the walls were just piled plywood. By my world's standards, even slum housing is preferable. That's how bad it was. We apologize for making you wait, honored guest. A goblin said while entering the structure. The goblin leader who had been showing me around until now then moved to attend to this one. Ah, don't mind it. I hadn't been waiting that long. I tried to respond with the best business-like smile I could foster. Of course, the best slime smile possible. They say that a single smile can turn negotiation in one's favor. Got to say, even I am susceptible to that skill. Not that I know what we are negotiating about. We humbly apologize for the inability to provide better accommodations. I currently have the pleasure of serving as this village's chief. Having said that, the goblins placed before me a tea-like drink. Which I have to admit, was rather surprising. I sipped the tea. To the onlookers, it probably looked like I toppled the cup over. It had no taste. Which was obvious, considering I had no taste buds. Whether that was good thing or not, I don't know. After checking the ingredients, I confirmed that it was not poisonous. Moreover, I could feel their sincere attempt at hospitality from this cup. So, for what reason have you gone out of your way to invite me here? I went straight to the point. Let's become friends with a fellow monster. It probably wasn't that kind of benevolent reason. Although the chief tensed and began to tremble, he seemed to have steeled himself and proceeded to ask. And this is what he said. If I may, you are aware of the recent increase in activity among the monsters, correct? That I heard on the way here. We have lived till now peacefully due to the protection from our god. However, he seems to have hidden himself about a month ago. Due to his disappearance, the nearby monsters have begun invading these lands. We, ourselves, did not welcome their incursion, and responded with force, but, our forces. Would the god be Feldera? Fits time-wise. In any case, it seems the goblins want my help. I understand your request. However, being a slime, I doubt I can live up to your expectations. Ha ha ha, how modest. A slime could never radiate such strong demonic aura. We are not so presumptuous as to try guess at why you have taken that appearance, but we are aware, you are a named monster, are you not? Demonic aura, he said? What's that? I don't remember emitting that. So, I tried to observe myself with magic perception. There was some kind of ominous aura drifting about me. Ugh. I should have noticed it when mimicking monsters or trying out body armor. How embarrassing. This feels just like walking down Main Street with your fly wide open. The cave's high magical energy concentration probably confused my senses. But, this is no good. Totally out of the question. Now, I finally understand the monster's fear of me. What monster would want to make an enemy of this dangerous-looking guy? No idiots getting fooled by appearance here, kind of thing. Welp. Phew phew phew. As expected of the chief, thou understands. It was obvious, your grace. Your wondrous persona cannot be hidden. I see, I was found out. Thou seems to be a promising bunch. I'm getting carried away, aren't I? Let's play along with their misconceptions and manipulate them a bit. At the same time, let's try to erase that ominous aura, demonic aura. As if absorbing the aura, I tried to direct the outer magical energy inside. Oh. You have been testing us. And let us thank you. There were many who feared your great aura. Looks like the aura successfully dissipated. From what I can see, I now look just like a normal slime. But had I been wandering around as a normal slime, I probably would have been annoyed with all the fights by now. So isn't this aura a good thing? It is so. Having beheld my aura and yet spake before I, wonderfully done. TL note, spake is an archaic, traditional, form of spoke, just imagine Remura speaking like Feldera. What's wonderful about it? Am I looking for trouble? Well, I'll bear with it for now. Like an actor. Your kindness is wasted on us. If you will, we shall not inquire regarding your true visage. Lest you anger, we wish for you to hearken to our request. Could we hope for such a favor? TL note, hearken is archaic for listen, imagine the goblins being groveling level polite. Well, probably. Don't avoid the subject. Let me hear it. While maintaining my haughty attitude, I pressed the chief for details. The story goes as thus. Coming from the eastern lands, new monsters threaten the balance of this region. Further, it seems that there are a few goblin villages around here. This village being but one of them, but they have had many battles with the newcomers and lost many good warriors. But the real problem was the named warrior. He served as the guardian of this village, and, when he was lost, the village found itself in a perilous situation. Other goblin communities have abandoned it. While the newcomers ravage that village, we'll come up with a plan. So the other villages thought. And no matter how much the goblin chief and leader begged them, they were coldly rebuked. Such is the bitter story the goblins conveyed. I see, how many live in this village? Among those, how many can fight? Yes, there are 100 denizens. If we include females, 60 are able to fight. Sounds rather unreliable. However, to even comprehend basic mathematics, the goblins are rather intelligent. Humph. What about the opponent? How many and of what race? Ah, yes. From the wolf species, the fang wolf family. At the moment, even 10 of us could hardly match one of them. And there are 100 of them. Ha! Who set this to game to impossible difficulty? I stared the chief in the eyes. No, he is not lying. His eyes are earnest. There are few dubious points, but I can probably believe his words for the most part. About those goblin warriors. They knew they couldn't win and still threw their lives away pointlessly. No, this intel is the product of the lives they gave away. His next words made me regret my question. Named Goblin was the chief's son, and Goblin leader's older brother. Having heard the situation, I stopped to think. Without a word, the chief awaits my decision. Did I just see a tear in his eyes? Probably just imagined it. Tears don't suit monsters. Arrogance does. That's the proper appearance of the feared monsters. Chief, there is but one thing I wish to confirm. If I save this village, what be my reward? What will thee do for me? Not that I wouldn't do this without a reward. But, we're talking about 100 enemies as strong as 10 goblins each. This will be no walk in the park. If I mimic the black serpent I can probably manage, but it's not a deal I can just easily accept. We offer our loyalty. Please protect us. If you do, we shall forever serve you. Honestly, I can do without their loyalty. But, having endured 90 days of solitude, I truly enjoyed talking with the goblins. Had I been human, I might have been repulsed by their filthiness. But, I am now a monster. I fear no disease. Moreover, the chief sighs. I'm their only hope, they say. Just like in the past world, I'm weak to dependent types. While grumbling to myself, listening to complaints from my Kaurhei, and fulfilling the requests of customers and senpai. TL note, Kaurhei is a member of an organization who started there after the person in question, senpai is person who was there before. Very well. I shall accept that request. I accepted with an exaggerated bow. And so, I became the master of goblins, and their guardian. Status. Name, Rimuru Tempest. Species, Slime. Divine Protection, the Storm Crest. Titles, none. Magic, none. Skills, Unique Skill Great Sage, Unique Skill Predator, Slime-specific skills Dissolve, Absorb, Regenerate, Extra Skill Water Manipulation, Extra Skill Magic Perception, Acquired Skills, Black Serpent Heat Detection, Noxious Breath, Centipede Paralysis Breath, Spider Sticky Thread, Steel Threat, Bat Ultrasound Waves, Lizard Body Armor. Resistances, Thermal Fluctuation Resistance X, Physical Attack Resistance, Pain Resistance, Electricity Resistance, Paralysis Resistance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 10, The Battle of the Goblin Village. Translator's Corner, Cast, an English clown and a French Pierrot. Pierrot, Graham Marcy for the tea, darling. Thou makest the most exquisite drink. Clown, you can stop with medieval English, now. And what the heck is Gramarcy? Pierrot, it apparently means, thank you. But wow, that was a good read. Clown, yeah, I really enjoyed that last chapter. Pierrot, I was talking about the article on medieval English. Your translation was too confusing. Clown. I despair. High expectations caused me to despair. Pierrot, I feel like we're switching roles here, snap out of it, clown. You're the optimistic one. Leave despair to me. Okay, finish the thought, why did the lion stop eating clowns? Clown, why did the lion stop eating clown? 'Cause he felt funny afterwards. Wow, it felt like a dark cloud had suddenly cleared away. Where were we? Pierrot, on a white computer screen. Clown, right. Empowerment Arc. Chapter 10, The Battle of the Goblin Village. The Fang Wolf Family. The rulers of the Eastern Plains. The cause of many headaches among the traders from Eastern Empire and other countries bordering the Jura Forest. Each is a C-rank monster, and could easily devour a negligent adventurer. However, they were mostly feared as a pack. When gathered, they move like a single entity, capable of organized attack. And, as a pack, they are often evaluated as a B rank. The Eastern Plains are located adjacent to Empire's wheat fields. As it is the Empire's primary food source, it boasts of impenetrable defense. Thus, although the Fang Wolves are rather cunning and possess excellent abilities, breaking through the defense would be exceedingly difficult. Furthermore, even if they did break through, they would only earn the Empire's wrath, and would probably be hunted into extinction. The pack leader understood that much. The many decades spent skirmishing with and learning from the ever-expanding Empire instilled that ominous premonition in them. As long as they preyed only upon small-time merchants, the Empire wouldn't get serious. However, if they even once decided to intrude upon the wheat fields, the Empire will bare its fangs. As a result, he had prevented many mishaps from beginning true incidents. Those were the thoughts that filled the pack leader's head. However, will this not stop his species' evolution? So his instincts screamed. Currently, the pack did not lack provision. If people were attacked and eaten, they were more of a snack. That's because humans aren't born with a lot of inherent magical energy. For the Fang Wolves, a meal was nothing more than absorbing magical energy. Fight strong monsters or slaughter many humans, and evolve into a calamity-class monster. But as things stand, neither method seemed very plausible. The Empire was simply far too strong. However, should they simply continue attacking merchants, their goal will be but a dream within a dream. But they have heard of a paradise for powerful monsters, a forest set on blessed lands far in the south. However, to reach those lands, they'd have to traverse the Jura Forest. The inhabitants of which aren't anything special. The many times they hunted those of them that ventured into the plains proved this point. In that case, why have they not invaded the forest yet? Storm Dragon Feldera. The existence of that dragon is the reason. Even while he was sealed away, the ominous energy he emitted was enough to frighten them into submission. They were convinced that the forest's inhabitants received Feldera's protection. And that is why they can live inside that fiendish aura. Had they believed otherwise, they would surely go mad. Until now, they lived with these shameful thoughts, and held back their urge to invade. Yes. Until now. The pack leader looks into the forest with his blood-red, sharp eyes. That despised, evil dragon's presence had vanished. Now, they could freely ravage through the forest, and become its supreme rulers. Oh, the very thought whet his appetite. And so, he howled the order to advance. Having become the guardian, I contemplated the next step. Personally, even with that title, I think their treatment of me is too grandiose. In any case, I gathered and studied the goblins' fighters. They are practically falling apart. Doesn't seem like I can depend on them during combat. Also, the remaining goblins, kids, and elderly, came to observe our preparation. No reinforcement from other tribes, either. As things stand, it's a small miracle that the chief hasn't lost his mind yet. Because even if they run away, they'd just die from hunger or thirst. And, the goblins whom I gathered are staring me as if at a deity. What a heavy burden I took up. Feels especially so since I just wanted to lead a carefree life away from responsibility. Do you all understand the situation? Not the kind of atmosphere to make a joke, and I don't have any good words of encouragement, so I went straight to the point. Yes. This shall become the fight to decide whether we live or die. We have already said our prayers. The goblin leader was the first to reply. The rest nodded in approval. And while there are some with trembling knees, that's only to be expected. Heart might be willing, but the flesh is weak, something like that. Don't get so worked up, relax. Even those eager may face defeat. Just focus on doing your best. Tried saying something cool. I, at least, felt better, so maybe it'll have some effect. In any case, should we begin? Failure will most likely result in the goblin's certain demise. But still, I chose to be going my way about this. TL note, reference to a 1944 film. Ahead, with arrogance. That's my choice. All right. Put your spirit into it. That is the first order I gave them. And from then on, many more orders will follow. Those words announced that the moment has come. And the sun had set. The Fang Wolves pack leader awoke. That night was a full moon. The perfect witness to their battle. He slowly awoke his flesh, and gazed over his dominion. The pack, seeing their leader like that, bated their breath. How tensely they await. So thought the leader. Tonight, they will crush that goblin village, and so take the first step into the Jura forest. Afterwards, hunt the nearby monsters, as to prove themselves as the forest's rulers. And someday soon, continue southward in search of greater power. We have the power to accomplish this, they thought. Our claws rip through the flesh of any beast, and our fangs pierce any armor. Asterisk. The pack leader howled. The time to trample their foes had come. However, there was one thing that bothered him. A few days ago, a brother he had sent on reconnaissance had brought back bewildering information. A small monster releasing monstrous energy. That monster's demonic aura far surpassed that of the leader. There could be no such thing. So concluded the leader. He had not perceived such a threat, and all the monsters he met were weak. There had been nothing to call resistance as of yet. Only that one time, 10 or so goblins had murdered a few of their brethren, but never again. Chances are, the scout was far too excited to see rationally. Thinking that, the boss only looked ahead. And in front of him, lay the village. It was just where the scouts reported. Using the wounded goblin, they had marked this village. So now, they can hardly offer proper resistance. The leader was a cunning wolf. He wouldn't let his guard down. However, the village was not as expected. As if it belonged to humans, it was fenced. They had dismantled every house and erected a wall. And, in the middle of the entrance ahead, stood a single slime. How ingenious. So laughed the leader. They left an opening to defend against our numbers. Were his thoughts. After all, they were slow-witted, trash of a monster. That wall will quickly topple before our claw and fang. We shall show them our might. With these thoughts, he ordered the attack. And as 10 fang wolves assaulted the walls. They truly were a single being. That was their true worth, their unity in combat. Movement made possible through telepathic communication. A form of communication many times faster than words. The first attack should have destroyed the walls. Surely, the leader imagined, the goblins will soon realize the futility of their plan and panic. Instead, it was the leader who let out a voice of surprise. The attack squad was repelled. And, there was something rolling on the ground while splashing blood among them, too. What had happened? Without a hint of panic, he sought answers. The slime had not moved. Did he do something? And then, the closest of his subordinates. It's the one from that day. The one that possessed an aura stronger than our Lord. So he reported. How foolish. He thought while looking at the slime. They would sometimes be born in the plains. You'd exaggerate if you called them monsters, a pitiful existence. To be surpass myself in demonic aura, impossible. But then. Alright. Stop right there. If you withdraw now, I will not pursue. Depart at once. Is what the slime declared. The Fang Wolves' leader was a crafty and cunning monster. Having lived many years and experienced many things, he'd never neglect making a plan. He was cool-headed and possessed courage tested through many battles. His many experiences, and the information he collected, all rejected the presence of a being stronger than him among the goblins. But the leader had, at that one moment, made a fatal mistake. And that mistake has decided their fate. Asterisk Uru. Garu. Asterisk. Miserable existence. I'll pulverize you. He ordered the attack. Wow, that was a surprise. Didn't think they'd attack so suddenly. I thought we'd start with a conversation, now all my lines went to waste. All the practice gone to waste. I even practiced during break. The first order I gave was to be guided to the wounded. Well, even if I add 10 or so more to the 60, the odds won't change all that much. However, being idolized and all kind of makes me want to do all I can. They were placed in a rather large but filthy-looking building. So about the wounded. They seemed to have received some first aid, but will surely die as things stand. What deep wounds! Ripped open by claw and fang, and their wounds had festered. Have to go all out here. And so, I absorbed the closest one. And, having dressed the wounds, spit him out. The village chief seemed to have been trying to say something, stuttering, actually, for a while, but I ignored him. And, going through every patient, I repeated the process. After many patients, I finally looked back at my handiwork. For some reason, the goblins were all prostrating themselves before me. What the hell are they doing? In any case, it seems they thought I had healed them with some inherent restorative power. Since that reaction was unpleasant, for the remaining wounded I spit the medicine out and treated them right there. And so, some time was spent on healing. Having finished medical treatment, I relayed next orders. The next thing to do would be to build a wall. Cutting down trees to build it would also be good, but we may not have enough time. Have to do with what we have. So without a hint of hesitation, we destroyed houses and recycled them into walls. One that would circle around the entire village. And while we were building, I sent out the brightest goblins, armed with bows, to scout. The enemy are wolves, so they have an excellent sense of smell, so I made sure to tell the scouts to avoid reckless action. Their resolve is impressive. Even at the cost of my life, that's the kind of aura they emit. Don't they love to exaggerate? The wall was finished on the evening the day after I arrived. I put on some finishing touches. Right, I increased its durability with my spider's thread. And by the way, I didn't forget to place a trap using steel thread, either. Wouldn't it be great if they blindly attack the walls? They'd be cut to pieces. After this fight, definitely can't forget to go around collecting components. And at the front, we left an opening. Here, I'll place some sticky thread and that will be it for preparations. Now, all I can do is wait for the scouts. About that time, the goblins I treated started waking up. Having them touch my body, I confirmed their condition. Seems like the restorative pills are pretty serious stuff. I thought they'd need to be treated many times, but it seems to have been super effective. What a pleasant surprise. Then, we had gathered the remaining wood at the center of the village, and started a fire. Kind of like a campfire, except without the merry faces. We have to stay on guard the whole night. As I don't need sleep, I naturally offered to stay on watch, but there could be no such thing. We can hardly allow Rimuru-sama to further exert yourself. As he said. We shall stay watch. Please rest, Rimuru-sama. That's right. As they said. Came all the responses. And I appreciate the sentiment, it's just these guys are probably so much more tired than I am. Nothing I can do, I guess. So we decided to keep a lookout on rotation. In the dead of the night, the scouts had come back. The wolves had begun to move, so they reported. They had some wounds, but all returned alive. I used to think they were filthy and ugly monsters. But I grew sympathetic to them over these 2 days. In prayers, each and every one of them wished for these battles to end. Those were my thoughts as I set up the sticky thread and stood at the gate. The battle began with the Fang Wolves' attack. I was worried if the gate would hold, but the wolves cannot mount an attack that would penetrate them. Seems like the traps were effective as well. At least that went well. For now. Alright. Stop right there. If you withdraw now, I will not pursue. Depart at once. Is what I called out. And I was completely ignored. The wolves moved at once, and begun assaulting the gate from all direction. Well, it can't be helped. Hopefully things will proceed according to plan. Having predicted this outcome, I left small openings in the fence. An arrow slit. Even the clumsy goblins are capable of shooting through that hole. Many wolves were hit by arrows, and fell whimpering. There were also wolves that tried to dig through those openings, but Zesu. Every time, they'd be hit from both sides by stone axes and perish. Though the goblins hadn't even practiced for 2 hours, they were desperate. Desperate to understand my directions and put them to use. And the result is the current situation. Without a question, the Fang Wolves are strong. As single beast, they are capable of taking on many goblins at once. As a pack, they might be truly formidable. But, that's the key. Just hit them a few times, one at a time. Divide and conquer. In short, brains will always triumph over brawn. The strongest animals in the world are those blessed with supreme intelligence, humans. How unlucky, while thinking these things, I felt the cold stare of the pack leader. He's but an animal, and thinks he can defeat me, how conceited. The pack leader was bewildered by this sudden turn of events. His subordinates are beginning to panic. This could be bad. Fang Wolves are as strong as they are united. Leader's distrust of his subordinates has always led to a single, devastating result. He had understood that much. And so, this was where he had committed the gravest mistake. He was angry that the wall wouldn't come down, but he was also afraid that his comrades' anger was directed at him. The leader needs to show his power, or he's the strongest one in the pack, he should be able to do this himself. They may think. And at that moment, it was settled. No one took their eyes off the leader's movement. However, to the goblins, it appeared as if he had disappeared. For me, he moved as if in slow motion. It all went according to plan. I've thought up quite a few scenarios, and the battle had played out according to one of those. As you'd expect from beasts. They'd never triumph over a human. The leader was caught in the sticky thread I lay at the entrance. With his strength, perhaps he could cut through it. I don't have a way to verify that point, not that it even matters. The goal of the sticky thread was to hold the leader down if for but a moment. Without a pause in movement the water blade may miss, and it'd look uncool. To say nothing of the worst-case scenario, hitting a friendly during combat. Well, those kinds of accidents do happen on the battlefield. I did have a trap prepared to avoid that, but seems like setting it up was a waste of effort. This guy never came up with a better plan than destroying the walls. I did consider laying some steel thread traps at the entrance as well, but considering all the situations where they'd avoid them, I decided against it. Right now, I have to play the part of an overwhelmingly powerful monster. It's for that reason that I set the traps. And without any hesitation, I decapitated the leader wolf. That's how easily he died. Hear me, Fang Wolves. Your leader has been felled by me. I give you a choice. Servitude or death. So, how will they respond? Having just arranged the leader's funeral, I'd rather not extend that list to a bunch of mad wolves looking for a place to die. Status. Name, Rimuru Tempest. Species, Slime. Divine Protection, the Storm Crest. Titles, none. Magic, none. Skills, Unique Skill Great Sage, Unique Skill Predator, Slime-specific skills Dissolve, Absorb, Regenerate, Extra Skill Water Manipulation, Extra Skill Magic Perception, Acquired Skills, Black Serpent Heat Detection, Noxious Breath, Centipede Paralysis Breath, Spider Sticky Thread, Steel Threat, Bat Ultrasound Waves, Lizard Body Armor. Resistances, thermal fluctuation resistance X, physical attack resistance, pain resistance, electricity resistance, paralysis resistance. If you find any errors, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know so we can fix it as soon as possible.